Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paula's Soapbox Live. With me tonight is Chris Schindler, a musician from an up-and-coming band out of Chicago called Villa Avenue. Please welcome him to the show.
Hi.
Hey, Chris, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And representing the rest of the band. So are all of you from Chicago?
Yeah, we're all, we live in like the northern suburbs of the city. So kind of spread out a little bit, maybe half hour apart or something. So.
Right, yeah. So did you guys all know each other before you formed this band?
Yeah, my drummer I went to high school with. We were in a keyboard piano class together, and we always talked about starting a band, and we never did until maybe like 5 years later.
Yeah.
And then our most recent member, well, it's been about a year now, but I've known him for a couple of years. We met through a mutual friend, and then our guy playing bass for us right now is a friend of his. So.
Okay, so you have 4 people in the band?
Yeah.
Okay, get my math straight in my head there. Okay, so where did the name Villa Avenue come from?
It's kind of an old name. We're always thinking about changing it.
Yeah.
But it kind of just stuck around, and it's probably the hardest thing to do is name your band because it's the thing that people are going to hear the most.
Right. Yeah.
But, it was originally it was a song title that we had, an old song that we had, and we couldn't really think of a band name. And a guy I used to work with just said, "Why don't you just name the band Villa Avenue?" And I thought, okay. Plus, there's a town by us called Lake Villa.
Yeah. Okay.
We also noticed that like through different towns and stuff, there's like a Villa Avenue almost in every town.
Yeah.
We thought, well, that's good because that's free advertising.
Right.
So, yeah. So we think about changing it, but yeah, right now it's Villa Avenue.
Yeah, I like the name. I think that you should stick with it. And also you get a fan base. You have your fans take pictures of actual Villa Avenues, like the signs.
We were thinking like it's very impersonal. Like it really doesn't mean anything to probably anybody but us. So we think maybe that's a bad name, but I don't know. It hasn't really done any bad for us. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that every band, when they're trying to name their band, thinks that about their name. So it's like, why would anybody name their band this? But when you get to be well known, it's not going to matter anymore. So.
Plus, it's not too complicated or crazy, so like we don't get a lot of crazy questions. People just kind of go, "Oh, okay."
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's Villa Avenue.
Whatever.
So, yeah. And you were going to change. So you said you were going to change the name, or you were thinking about changing the name.
Yeah, we're always thinking about changing it. But
what are some of the other names you kicked around?
We have no idea. That's the problem.
Oh, you have no other idea what you would call the band? Okay. Well, then it probably means that you should stick with this one.
Yeah, probably.
So I know that you come from a musical background. Your uncle gave you your first guitar, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You did your research.
Yes, I did. It's very tough, though. Not all of you are very active on social media. So, so he was a musician?
Yeah, I have, I have music on both sides of my family, my dad's side and my mom's side.
Right.
More so my mom's side. Although it was my uncle on my dad's side that bought me my first guitar. Mm-hmm. And he did the classic thing when he was young. He ran away to Austin, Texas to join a band. So he's down there now and still playing music. Yeah. And I've got a cousin that is actively playing music. She was on a record label for a little while.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Her name's Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
And then on my mom's side, I have an uncle that I was really close with that played guitar all the time, and my grandma sang. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of musical stuff kind of peppered in our family.
Yeah, so it was kind of inevitable that you would kind of follow in those footsteps.
Yeah, eventually one of us is going to pick it up.
Right, yeah. So you wrote your first song when you were 19.
Yep. Wow.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, we still play it today, actually.
Oh, really? Which one was it? Which one is it?
It's called Release Me.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw that online at some point.
Or something.
Yeah, well, that's really cool that you still play that song that you wrote all those years ago. So
yeah, it stuck. So
yeah. So what about the other guys? Do they have musical backgrounds, or is it something they just sort of picked up along the way, or?
My drummer, like I said, we met in a keyboard class. Neither one of us really plays piano, but we'd like to.
Yeah.
Whenever you can play like, the basic When the Saints Go Marching In and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got into drums pretty young. His parents got a drum kit, and he was the noisy kid in the basement playing drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more into like Nirvana and harder rock. He's a very like hard hitting drummer.
Yeah. So is this Jason?
Yes, Jason.
Okay. Okay.
And so yeah, he's really great at what he does. And Jim, our guitar player, he's probably the most like educated musically guy in the band. Yeah. That guy he's probably at home right now playing guitar.
Yeah. Well, he should be watching this interview. I don't know why he's at home playing guitar. So
he's quietly playing as he's listening.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a studio kind of in his basement, and him and his buddy have a business together. They run called CCH Audio, where they make music for like commercials and video games and that kind of stuff. So he's very versatile. You can play piano, you can play all kinds of guitars, and I think he played saxophone. He's all over the place. So he can play bass if he needs to.
Yeah.
And then the guy that's sitting in with us once in a while playing bass, and he's played bass on a few of our recordings too, is a buddy of his, Nate. I just recently met him maybe a few months ago. And same thing. He's very versatile. He can do things. Well, one of the things that was kind of cool in like this day and age, I guess, is that you can like record like remotely. So like you can record something and send it somewhere, and someone else can add to it, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah. It opens up a whole other way of collaborating. So
yeah, it's like you're not just limited to the people that happen to be talented or musicians in your neighborhood.
Right. Yeah.
Which, when you think about it, it's pretty amazing that a lot of these bands came out when they did, like way back when, because you had to like know the guy from down the street, or like
right.
Johnny Cash's band was just a bunch of like mechanics that could play guitar, just happened to be able to, and like
or garage bands and stuff. So
yeah. So you kind of were just whoever you had, you kind of were stuck with.
Right. Yeah. Well, it definitely opens up a whole other thing, so that you can be exposed to lots of different talents and people of all backgrounds and different taste, that sort of thing.
Yep. So Nate, his name's Nate Hahn, and he plays bass. And like our last song that we recorded, it's called All in My Head. You can see that on our Reverb Nation and our SoundCloud.
Okay.
But he went in, and I don't think he'd ever heard it before, and he listened to the recordings, and he sent it back maybe a couple days later with his bass on it, and we're just like, oh, this is awesome. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
So are you the only person who writes the songs for the band, or do all of you just sort of collaborate on the songwriting? Or
mainly I'll write the songs, or I'll write kind of like the kind of bare bones of it. I'll have like a structure and a melody and stuff. Because we like to play the songs acoustically too. Me and Jim will play acoustic shows. So we like to have it so like, if the song can kind of just sustain on its own, just acoustic, and then we'll add to a band can add to it. But a lot of times, we're very open. We're very I'm very open to having people add stuff or take stuff away, or whatever. And so I'll take a song a lot of times, and I'll just kind of leave room in it for like, well, if we want to have like a change here or whatever, and everybody just kind of throws their input in and adds their own like personality to it. And then by the end of it, we can have something where, it might not be exactly what I had written before, but it could be way better. And it's something that we can all say that we, constructed as a unit. And so that's kind of how it works with us. Yeah.
So who are your musical influences?
When I was growing up, my dad like played like a lot of like singer-songwriters like from the 60s and 70s. So like Cat Stevens, so you can kind of see the poster back there.
Yeah, I notice it now. I can see it now.
Like Gordon Lightfoot and Harry Chapin, who was kind of like a storyteller. I really liked him.
Yeah.
He's got a song that everybody knows, Cats in the Cradle, but the majority of his songs are like 10 minutes long. They're story songs. They're like these epic, just great songs.
Right.
So I love like singer-songwriters and like, Neil Young and those kind of guys. Our drummer, Jason, like I said, he's more into like Nirvana and like Foo Fighters.
Totally different end of the spectrum.
Totally different. And which is great because it, playing with a group of people that are different from you makes you kind of write stuff that you wouldn't normally write, or come up with stuff, or kind of takes you out of your comfort zone. Like anything, like once you're out of your comfort zone, that's when you really start like becoming like good at something.
Right. Well, it forces you to stretch yourself, and you grow that way. So.
Yeah. And then Jim, I think he's more into like classic rock, and right now he's really very into like classical guitar, like really old time. He'll be playing people from. I'll go over to his house and we'll be listening to stuff from like the 1930s and 40s.
Wow.
And he's really getting into like the Spanish guitar and the nylon strings, and he's very versatile in what he can do. He can play, rock guitar, or you can just play really sweet, like nice melodies. You can play acoustic. You can play all kinds of things. So, he loves guitar. So he's always trying to learn new things.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a very eclectic mix going. So that's good. I mean, like you said, it kind of forces you to get out of your comfort zone and stretch yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So who would you like to collaborate with in the future? Like anyone famous or whatever?
Oh, they used to have a show. No, maybe I'm dating myself now, but they used to have a show called Crossroads on CMT.
Yeah.
I think they do it every once in a while now, but they used to do it a lot.
Right. Yeah.
That was like my favorite show because they would take two people from like completely different things and throw them together.
Yeah. Yeah. I had forgot about that show until you just brought it up. So that was,
And I don't think they really do it now. In the last couple ones that I have seen, it's like they choose people from like the same kind of music. And it's like, well, that's no fun. You want to have like the guys from Kiss, like with like, Gordon Lightfoot or something.
Right. Yeah. Total opposite.
Yeah. Opposites.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I wish they kind of had that kind of stuff. But I mean, I don't know. I don't really know who it would be. Anybody really.
Yeah. Well, I read that you guys are looking for an additional band member. Is that true?
Yeah, we recently had put out an ad for a bass player.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're hoping to start to play a couple more shows, and people generally, clubs and stuff, like to have full bands.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it'd be better just that they had like a diversity, like you have like a little bit here, a little bit there, but it's not my thing, I guess. But yeah, definitely, Nate's been might be coming in with us for there, and we're always looking for different things too. Like we used to have a keyboard player, our friend Ben, who's still very good friends with us. And we used to, we'd like to get all kinds of things. We'd like to get saxophone players. We'd like to get, other string players. We'd like to get all kinds of things. But
so if someone is interested in joining the band, what should they do? Should they send you like music or?
Yes, absolutely. Go to our Facebook, our Villa Avenue Facebook. We have a friends page, and then there's a band page. We generally use the friends page more.
I noticed that. Yeah, it was a bit confusing at first, but
yeah. There's just everybody's got a million pages. Definitely send us a thing on there, or we have an email. You can villaav@yahoo.com. You can send us an email.
Okay. So it's AV or AVE?
Yeah, Villa AVE.
Okay.
Yahoo.com. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Anybody. Yeah. Anything. We're open for anything.
You may get more responses than you want after.
Yeah. Luckily, it's just an email address. So.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to sing something for us tonight before we go?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. What are you going to sing?
I'll play the first song I ever wrote. I'll play "Release Me."
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good.
Grab it. Hopefully, it's tuned. Kind of, not really, but we'll see.
Sounds good to me, but I know nothing about music, so.
Okay, this song's called "Release Me." Lately, as lonely as can be, nothing left here for me. The walls are closing down and it's too late to turn around, and maybe I could settle down today with me. Without you, find myself wandering around, wandering with me. Without you, now I'm looking in the troubled eyes, thinking maybe that you're just like me. They say the story goes, you won't find out until you're old, thinking that it's all passed you by. Maybe she'll lay next to me, just like it always used to be. I didn't think I'd be this glad to die with me. Without you, find myself wandering around, wandering with me. Without you, now I'm looking in the troubled eyes, thinking maybe that you're just like me. So it's all the same to me. So a man fell down to his knees and cracked the lightning through the trees, shook the earth and oh God, please take me where I belong. I've been stuck here way too long, and open up so I can see clearly again. Oh, yeah. Release me.
That sounded good. Yeah, and that was the first time I ever wrote. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So people want to check out your music. You do have the, as you mentioned before, the Reverb Nation page. So it's /Villa_Avenue for that page. Your Facebook page is Villa.Avenue or is it underscore?
Villa.Avenue.
Okay, Villa.Avenue, and then your Twitter is just Villa Avenue.
Yes.
So are those the only pages that you have that people can find?
We also have we have a SoundCloud also, which is also just SoundCloud/Villa.Avenue.
Okay. So do you have any upcoming gigs that you would like to talk about?
We recently just booked a show on November 2nd. We're going to be at a club called Martyrs in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it starts at 8:30.
Cool. Okay. That sounds cool. So do you have places where people can buy your music or?
Right now we just have it online.
Online.
You can download it on Reverb Nation or on SoundCloud. Once we're in the process of recording an album. And once we finish that, we're gonna put the whole thing up on iTunes. So.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Maybe something I forgot or?
No, that's good.
Okay. Well, be sure to keep me posted on everything that you guys are doing, and we'll have you back on the show, or I'll be glad to have you and the rest of the band members on the show, whatever works. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Well, it was my pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
You too.